Today, as the sun begins to rise over the horizon, I want you to take a moment to stop and breathe deeply. There is something that the Lord has prepared for you, something that will touch the deepest part of your heart. If you find yourself here, it is because God is about to do a work in your life. This is not a simple encounter. It is a divine call to restore your being. Maybe you find yourself going through a season of uncertainty, where the days seem to blend into a sea of questions without answers. If you are feeling that everything seems uncertain, that the direction of your life has become cloudy and you don't know where to go, this moment is for you. I want you to know deep down that you are not alone in this fight. The Lord has come to touch those places in your heart that have been touched by pain, by uncertainty, by the anguish that comes with not knowing what will happen in the future. Sometimes life presents us with situations that make us feel like everything is falling apart. Feelings of insecurity take over us, and our emotions become a whirlwind that is difficult to manage. Not knowing what will happen the next day can cause deep pain in the soul. The fear of what we don't know, the anguish of what is to come, can paralyze us. But it is precisely in these moments when God's voice becomes closer, softer, but firm in its message. Do not be afraid, I am with you. Just as the gentle breeze caresses your face on a hot day, God's love wants to envelop your heart now, telling you that He knows what you are feeling and He is there, ready to restore everything that has been touched by uncertainty. I want you to close your eyes for a moment and feel that peace that comes from knowing that God is in control. He has not forgotten you or your struggles. Today, as this new day begins, I want you to hand over to Him everything that weighs you down. The doubts, the unanswered questions, the fears of what you can't see with your own eyes. He invites you to rest in His love. Sometimes we believe that we must carry all the weight of life, with all the responsibilities, with the uncertainties that surround us, but God calls us to rest. His yoke is easy, and His burden is light. He has not created you to live under the oppression of anxiety, but to live in His peace. And even though you can't see the future clearly today, God assures you that He has a perfect plan for you. If right now your heart is full of questions, if you feel like you don't know where to start or where to go, I want you to know that today is a day of restoration. God is going to begin a healing process in your life, and this process will be profound. He not only wants to calm your fears momentarily, but He wants to restore your heart, heal it from the wounds caused by doubt and fear. Maybe you have lost hope in some areas of your life. Maybe you have felt that your dreams have faded and that everything around you has become uncertain. But the Lord wants to restore that dream. He wants to remind you that even if plans don't always go the way we expected, He always has a divine purpose for us, and that purpose is for good. I want you to make a decision today, a decision that will be key to your restoration. Decide to trust. Decide to believe that even if the circumstances are unclear, God is working behind every scene. He is there moving the pieces, guiding your path even when you can't see Him. Maybe you have felt lost or abandoned, but that is just a lie the enemy wants you to believe. The truth is that God's love never fails. No matter what you are facing, He has the power to restore peace to your heart. And not just momentary peace, but a deep peace, a peace that passes all understanding, a peace that can calm the storm within you. Today, as you surrender to God, He is right now working in your heart. He is restoring what has been broken, healing what has been wounded by uncertainty. You don't have to have all the answers right now. Sometimes God asks us to take a step of faith without knowing what will come next. That's what it means to trust, walking toward what we can't see, but knowing that He is before us, guiding and protecting us. If you are afraid, if the future scares you, you are not alone. Jesus is walking with you, and He is preparing something much better than you can imagine. He wants to heal your soul. He wants to restore your heart, and above all, He wants to give you the peace you need so much. I want you to visualize this now. Imagine that God, with His infinite love, is taking your heart in His hands. He is restoring it, healing it, removing every bit of pain, every bit of uncertainty that you have carried with you for so long. His presence is filling every corner of your being, and in this moment, when you let Him work in you, your heart becomes lighter. It is not an instantaneous process, but every time you decide to surrender to Him, more healing comes. Today is a new beginning, a day of restoration. So right now I want you to say a prayer in your heart. Tell God, Lord, I surrender everything that causes me uncertainty. I surrender my fears, my doubts, my insecurities. I trust that you will guide me, heal me, and restore my heart. Today I decide to rest in you, knowing that you sustain me. Thank you for your love and for your peace. May this be the beginning of a restoration process in your life. Remember, the future may be uncertain, but God's promise is clear. He is with you, He will restore your heart, and He will bring you to a place of peace. God has not forgotten you, not even a single day. Although doubts invade you and it seems that everything you have hoped for has been fading, the Lord is closer than you can imagine. In the midst of the storm, He is the firm anchor that keeps you standing. You may not see the immediate result of your prayers, but I want you to know that God is working in the details of your life, in every step you take, even when you don't understand everything that is happening. Sometimes life seems meaningless, and our hearts are filled with frustration when we see no progress, but God does not stop in the midst of your uncertainty. He is doing something beautiful in your life, something that, in time, will allow you to see clearly. Remember that when it seems like everything is falling apart, it is in those moments that God begins to build something new. It is in brokenness where the Lord can touch your heart most strongly. Pain, although difficult, is not the end. It is the beginning of a divine restoration that has no comparison. You may be looking for answers elsewhere, seeking comfort in other people's words, but there is a voice stronger than all that confusion, a voice that invites you to rest. That voice is that of God, who tells you, stop fighting. Let me take control of your fears, your anxieties, and your doubts. I am the only one who can restore what has been lost in you. This is God's promise. He will not leave you in the abyss of uncertainty. He is walking with you every step, and He is not going to let you go. Maybe today you feel tired, exhausted by the constant struggle of trying to find answers. You are looking for the right path, but the signs seem to be off. However, there is something that never goes out, and that is the love of God. He doesn't leave you in the middle of the desert without water. He is the fountain that never runs dry. Right now, God is working in your heart, restoring what has been broken by the anguish of the unknown. Uncertainty does not have the power to govern your life, because God has a perfect plan for you, even if you can't see it now. What God is doing in your life will not always be visible at first. Sometimes it is necessary to go through the darkness before the dawn arrives. And even though you can't see the light of day right now, I want you to know that the light is about to appear. That light is not only the promise that everything will get better, but the assurance that God is with you, guiding you, loving you, and covering you with His grace. If you have felt lost, aimless, He is the beacon that guides you, the light that illuminates your path. No matter how deep the night you find yourself in, God's light will always prevail. You may be looking for quick answers, but there is something you need to understand. The restoration that God wants to do in your life takes time. He is not simply fixing what is broken on the outside, but He is healing the deep wounds of your soul. The healing process is not something that can be rushed. God is working at the roots of your being, in those areas that perhaps you yourself had not realized needed attention. And it is precisely in that process, when you surrender completely to Him, when you allow His love to touch the deepest part of your being, that true restoration begins to emerge. I want you to think for a moment about what you have been holding in your heart, the wounds of the past, the broken promises, the betrayals that have left marks on your soul. What things have you been carrying that have weighed you down for so long? God is asking you to hand them over today, to let Him take them into His hands. Not because He wants to make you suffer more, but because He knows that only in His hands can your heart be truly restored. Maybe you think you can't forget what was done to you, that the scars you carry are too deep to be healed, but I want you to know that God can restore even what seems irreparable. He has the power to heal the most broken part of your being. Restoration does not mean that everything you have experienced will disappear, but it does mean that what you have experienced will not have the power to define your future. Today, as you surrender everything at the feet of Christ, you are letting His peace rule your heart. The peace that surpasses all understanding, that peace that is not seen in the visible, but that is felt deeply in the most intimate part of your being. It is a peace that allows you to walk with confidence, knowing that, although you do not have all the answers, God has you in His hands and will not allow you to fall. I want you to think right now not only about what you have lost, but also what God wants to restore in you. God is not a God who abandons, He is a God who restores, who heals, who brings the dead back to life. You may think that there is no longer hope for some areas of your life, that the dreams you once had no longer have meaning. But let me tell you, the Lord is saying, you haven't seen anything yet. I will do new things. What seems dead, I will revive. When you give yourself completely to Him, when you trust in His restoration, you can be sure that He will do something new, something you never imagined. God wants to restore your soul. He wants to restore what has been lost in your heart and wants you to find the peace that only He can offer. It doesn't matter how long you've been waiting. It doesn't matter how many days of uncertainty you have experienced. Today is the day He invites you to rest in His love. And by resting, by trusting, you will see how every corner of your heart begins to heal. He not only heals the visible, but reaches to the deepest part of your being and restores everything that has been touched by pain. Today, don't continue carrying only what you can't heal. Let God work in you. The time of restoration has arrived. This is not a process that you will take alone. God is guiding you, He is sustaining you, and He promises to take you to the end. In every step, in every breath, He will be with you, and you will see how one day when you least expect it, you will have arrived at the place of peace and restoration that He has prepared for you. Today, your restoration begins. Trust, let go, and receive the peace that only He can give you. I invite you at this moment to take a deep breath and take some time to reflect on your life. Reflect on what you have experienced, on the moments that have marked you, on the decisions you have made. Maybe there are memories that still hurt you, situations that you can't forget. And what I ask of you today is that you put them in the hands of God. If something has hurt you deeply, if you have felt that your heart has been broken by the ups and downs of life, I want you to know that today is the day when He can restore everything. Sometimes we carry pain that we have not had the courage to face, hurt by abandonment, harsh words, lies that have made us believe that we are worthless, or betrayals that have marked our trust. But I want you to know something very important. The Lord is here to heal those wounds. He sees your pain, your suffering, and most of all, your courage in moving forward. He knows there are times when, like you, we wonder why everything has to be so difficult. But in that moment of doubt, I encourage you to turn your gaze to Him, who can transform everything that seems to be an obstacle into a blessing. You need to trust, even if you don't fully understand the process. Healing time is not immediate, but it is a divine process that allows the Lord to work in your life. Every tear you have shed, every worry that has stolen your peace, God takes them into account. He is restoring more than you can see, more than you can imagine. Sometimes, restoration begins in ways invisible to us, touching the deepest part of our being. You may not see the answer right away, and you may feel frustrated that you're not clear about which path to take. But I want you to trust in one thing. Every step you take is guided by His love. Sometimes when we feel disoriented, we think that everything we have experienced so far is meaningless. But God is using those moments to give you a deeper perspective on life, a perspective that is not only based on the visible, but also on the invisible, on the eternal. When your heart is full of uncertainty, it is normal for fear to creep in and make you doubt God's promises. You may even find it hard to believe that things can get better. However, I assure you that everything you have experienced until now is not in vain. Every moment of doubt, pain, and waiting has a divine purpose. God is perfecting something within you that will only be revealed when you are ready to receive it. The peace you are seeking does not come from your circumstances, but from the security of knowing that He is in control. When the heart is at peace with God, the mind calms, fears disappear, and life becomes clearer, more meaningful. Restoration of the heart that is wounded by uncertainty can only come when you decide to trust, when you decide to give Him everything you have carried for so long. By surrendering those burdens, you are allowing the Lord to work, for Him to heal, and for Him to transform everything that seems out of place into something beautiful, something new. Did you know that God loves you in your entirety, just as you are? You don't need to change to be worthy of His love, because He already loves you just the way you are. And when you allow yourself to be honest with yourself and with God, That is when the true restoration process begins. You don't have to hide your fears, your insecurities, or your pains. He knows them, and most importantly, is willing to restore them. Restoration is not about erasing your past, but about giving it a new purpose, a new direction. Perhaps you feel unsure if your heart is capable of loving fully again after the difficult experiences you have had. I want to tell you that yes, your heart is made to love, because the love of God heals and purifies it. God has not given you a heart that breaks, but a heart that can be renewed and restored, that can be filled with His peace and His grace. Remember that the restoration of your heart does not mean that difficulties magically disappear, but it does mean that even though you face challenges, you will be equipped with the peace that comes from God. His love strengthens you, gives you courage, and helps you see life with new eyes. By trusting in Him, you're allowing the Lord to work in you, to give you the serenity and wisdom to make the right decisions, and to know when to let go of what does not serve you and embrace what He has prepared for you. Life is not about avoiding pain, but about learning to walk with Him even in the midst of pain. Every difficulty is an opportunity to get closer to God, to let yourself be enveloped by His love and be transformed. Every step you take in faith brings you closer to the complete restoration He has prepared for you. I invite you to reflect on one of God's most beautiful promises. I know the plans I have for you, plans for good and not for evil, to give you a future full of hope. Jeremiah 29:11. You may not understand everything that is happening now, but in the midst of uncertainty, remember that His plan for you is much bigger than you can see. He is in control, even when things don't go as you expected. He knows your future. He knows what you need, and above all, He knows how to heal you. Today, the Lord wants to restore what has been damaged in you, restore the peace you have lost, restore your dreams, your purpose, and your joy. The process may be long, it may require patience, but remember that what God is doing in you has an eternal purpose. It is important to understand that the true restoration that God has for your heart does not happen overnight, but is a continuous process of surrender and trust. Sometimes the feeling of being stuck or going around in circles makes us question whether something is really happening inside of us. However, I want you to know that even in those moments when you don't see external changes, God is working deep within you. He is molding your character, purifying your soul, and healing wounds you didn't even know existed. Restoration occurs in God's perfect timing, and what seems like an endless wait is actually the moment when God prepares you for something much greater. Your heart, often scarred by life's uncertainties and difficulties, is valuable in God's eyes, and He desires to restore it in a way that is completely transformative. When you go through a restoration process, you may feel insecure, especially when it comes to relationships. What God has for you is not only related to your personal growth, but also to the way you relate to others. Restoring your heart directly affects the way you connect with the people around you, whether in your family, work, or romantic relationships. Many times, the emotional wounds we carry prevent us from loving with the fullness that God wants for us. Doubt, fear, and distrust can keep us from deep, genuine love, creating invisible barriers that limit our potential to live in healthy relationships. But God is here to restore those areas, bringing clarity, healing, and deliverance. Over time, you have probably learned to protect yourself, to shut down emotionally to avoid the pain of new losses or disappointments. However, the restoration of your heart requires that you open the doors of your being again. This does not mean being naive or exposing yourself recklessly, but rather allowing God's love to penetrate the deepest parts of your soul, freeing you from fears that keep you bound. God does not want you to live with a closed heart, but with the confidence that He is in control and that, even in times of pain, He will bring the healing and peace you need. By trusting Him, you allow Him to guide your steps and teach you how to love in a healthy way, without carrying the weight of broken relationships from the past. It is natural that when going through difficult situations, especially in relationships, you have doubts about God's love and whether He is really interested in restoring your heart. Maybe you wonder if you are worthy of being loved, or if you will ever be able to truly love without fear. But you must know that God's love for you is not conditioned on your behavior or your past. He loves you with an unconditional and eternal love, and His will is for you to experience that love in its entirety. No matter what you have experienced or how you feel right now, God's love can heal any pain and restore any broken part of your being. When you receive that love, He begins to shape your life in ways you never imagined possible. God's love is the transforming power that can restore even the deepest and most painful areas of your heart. Restoration does not happen automatically, but is a continuous process of surrender and trust in God. This requires that you be willing to let go of the past, forgive yourself and others, and embrace the future with hope. God wants you to walk with confidence, knowing that He has a perfect plan for your life, and that plan includes restoring all the areas of your heart that have been wounded. It may be difficult to believe this when the pain is still fresh or when the uncertainty about the future seems overwhelming, but trust that God is working in every detail of your life. He will not leave you alone or in doubt, but will guide you toward complete healing and restoration. Restoration of the heart also involves learning to trust God and others again. When we are hurt, whether by words, actions, or situations beyond our control, the natural tendency is to build emotional walls around ourselves. This prevents us from fully relating with people and with God. But by allowing God into this process, He breaks down those walls and teaches us to trust again. He is not only restoring the damaged areas of your heart, but He is also forming in you a new understanding of what it is to love and be loved. God's love teaches us to see others with the eyes of Christ, to forgive and accept others as He accepts us, with all our imperfections. That is the kind of love God wants you to live in your relationships, and by allowing Him to restore your heart, you will be ready to truly love. As part of restoration, it is important to remember that God has a plan for every area of your life, including relationships. Sometimes what you consider a loss or delay is actually a part of God's process for your restoration. He knows the right time to put the right people in your life, and while that doesn't happen, He continues to work in your heart to prepare you for something better. If you are waiting for a healthy relationship or the restoration of an existing relationship, trust that God has a perfect plan for you. He will not leave you waiting without purpose. On the contrary, it is preparing the best for you, whether in the form of new connections or the restoration of old relationships that needed healing. Finally, I want you to remember that the restoration of your heart is not a one-time event, but an ongoing process. God works in you every day, restoring the broken parts and molding you into His image. Every day is an opportunity to surrender your pains, doubts, and fears to Him, allowing Him to bring peace, clarity, and renewal into your life. When you put your trust in God, He restores not only your heart, but also your mind and spirit. He has the ability to transform any situation, any relationship, and bring the healing you need to live a full and abundant life. Today, I invite you to continue delivering all that into the hands of God, knowing that He is faithful to complete the good work that He began in your life.